Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to another video on this YouTube page. Please like this video and subscribe. Now, I know when I said at the beginning of this YouTube channel that I would be doing mostly reviews of WWE's Raw, SmackDown, and the pay-per-views, etc. like that. But I also mentioned in my first video that there would be other videos on here. And starting today, we will be doing some top 10s, some Q&As, some countdowns of not only WWE stuff, but other stuff as well. Today will be my first non-WWE video. It will be my countdown of my top 10 Nickelodeon shows of all time. Now, these could be animated cartoons or regular cartoons, TV shows that aired in their Saturday night time slot, or Saturday night lineup, or shows that even aired in prime time and now air on Nick at Night. Yes, there will be one show that aired on prime time and now airs as reruns on Nickelodeon, but it's so good in my opinion it belongs on this list. So, as we begin the top 10 TV shows in Nickelodeon history, I will say that number 10 on this list is a cartoon known as the Rugrats. Now, yes, Rugrats. Back in the day when you were a little kid watching that show, everyone was just like, oh, it's just a bunch of little kids running around. Yeah, just a bunch of babies. Yep, well, that's exactly what it was. A show that ran from 1990 to 2006, revolving around a bunch of little babies who were prepubescent and pretty much before they were even, talking kids. The parents never heard them talk, but they were so good that their sounds, I guess, communicated words to each other, and the names of the babies were Tommy Pickles, Chucky, Angelica, Tommy's little brother Dill, Phil, Lil, and later on Kimmy and Susie and a bunch of others, just as a whole. The show, in my opinion, from top to bottom, was probably one of the best cartoons in Nickelodeon history. And number 9 now, as we move down on the list, will be the Fairly Odd Parents, a show that is still active. It is airing currently in its 9th season. It has had... Oh, no, actually, I'm sorry. The show just recently ended. I'm looking it up right now. The final episode date, dated March 28th, 2015. I did not know that. Okay. Well, the show, airing from 2001 to 2015, revolves around a boy named Timmy Turner, receiving fairy godparents, named Cosmo and Wanda, who help him because of his demented babysitter Vicky, as well as his neglectful parents and his unhelpful friends, and all the enemies he's formed based off of these fairies are very well known, and all the problems he's gotten into. He did help Cosmo and Wanda have a baby. He wished them to have a baby who they later named Poof, who was in the second half of the series from season 6 on. They also had some real life movie adaptations starring Drake Bell and Daniela Monet. Some good movies were not very well received, but I liked them. I think they were decent. Alright, we're going to move on down now to number 8 on the list. This is a show that starred Victoria Justice, known as Victorious, pretty much. Airing from 2010 to 2013, a show that was canceled before it could have a rightful finale, revolving around a bunch of high school teens in a school called Hollywood Arts in Hollywood, California, acting, singing, and becoming famous as they go on, revolving around Tori Vega, Andre Harris, Kat Valentine, Jade West, Beck, Oliver, Tori's older sister Trina, and Robbie Shapiro as well. These teens continue to get in a lot of trouble, especially with their teacher, Mr. Sikowitz. Tori's parents are very neglectful. Beck and Jade are a arguing couple for most of the show. Kat, as they did see, unknowing and half-dumb redhead. And Robbie is the nerd of the group. Trina's the untalented one, even though she says she has more talent than anyone in the world. Andre is the musically gifted one. Tori can act, sing, do a lot of things. In my opinion, a show that has a lot of different variations and can really give someone a laugh when needed. Next, number 7 on the list will be Rocko's Modern Life, a cartoon airing in the 90s, 1993 to 1996, revolving around a kangaroo named Rocco, who, he's a wallaby, and he lives in the United States after moving from Australia. He is very, very danger prone, his friends Heffa and his neighbors Mr. Ed. It's just a funny cartoon to watch him continually fail at life. You know, it's called Rocko's Modern Life because the modern life for him is something he can't really succeed in, and it's something that he is not really good at living. Next up, we're going to go to number 6, and this was the one I was telling you about at the beginning of the video. This aired on prime time from 1987 to 1995, airing on ABC. It now airs as reruns on the 8 to 10 o'clock slots on Nick at Night every single weeknight, and then again on most weekends at different times, though. This show I loved growing up. As a kid watching this, you know, watching Full House was the thing for a lot of people, even though it aired 15 years, or it went off the air 5 years before I was born, and when I started watching it, it had been off the air almost 10 years. But it was just a great show. I really enjoyed the comedy that came out of it. Joey was hilarious, but Danny was... the way he acted was so funny. I really connected with Uncle Jesse. I found myself as a little kid wanting to be like Uncle Jesse. And then the kids just doing a lot of stupid things to get them in trouble. It's a classic television show kind of way to do things, but I really think the way it was done was really well. And Full House will be going down as one of the greatest cartoon shows, non-animated cartoon shows in history. Definitely. Moving on to number 5. This will be the second of what will be 4 Dan Schneider shows on this list. Dan Schneider, in my opinion, really quickly, probably the greatest mind in Nickelodeon history. He, by far, made the greatest shows I've ever seen. This will be Zoe 101, which aired from 2005 to 2008, starring Jamie Lynn Spears as Zoe Brooks, along with her friends Chase, Michael, Lola, Logan, and a bunch of other, Quinn, and then a bunch of other revolving characters. Her younger brother, Dustin. In the first season, this girl named Dana, as well as we saw James later in the season, played by Austin Butler. The show had a great run. It would have gone on longer had Zoe Brooks not gotten pregnant at such a young age. I love the ending. The finale is one of my favorites of a Nickelodeon show and a Dan Schneider show. It's up there with the iCarly finale, I Goodbye, which actually made me cry. I will admit I cried the first time I saw I Goodbye. I'm not going to lie, that was tough. But Zoe 101 at a boarding school in PCA, named PCA, Pacific Coast Academy, in my opinion, is a school I would want to go to. You know, they have so many cool things there. Why wouldn't you want to go there? But anyway, one of the best ideas Dan Schneider's ever had. And now we're going to move on to number 4 on the list. Another Dan Schneider show. I just referenced it. iCarly. This show airing from 2007 to 2012. Starring Miranda Cosgrove as Carly Shay with her older brother Spencer, played by Jerry Trainer. Those two worked before in another Dan Schneider show, which will maybe be on the list a little bit later. Also, Jeanette McCurdy stars as Carly's best friend Sam. Freddie Benson, played by Nathan Kress, as the nerdy neighbor of Carly, and Noah Monk playing Gibby, who everybody just loves to laugh at Gibby. iCarly, what else can you say about it? It aired in the 8 o'clock slot on the Nickelodeon Saturday night time slot for 5.5 years when they were airing new episodes. You know, I watched it from the first episode in 2007 all the way to I Goodbye, and as I said, I cried when I first watched I Goodbye, so it just goes to show that a Nickelodeon show like iCarly can have some funny moments, but it can also produce some sad ones, and that was definitely one of them, and that's why iCarly is so high on this list. Next up, we're going to go to number 3, and that's going to be Ned's Declassified School Survival Guide. This show, a lot of people actually tried out doing some of his tips, and a lot of them do work, and some of them maybe not. This show airing from 2004 to 2007, not created by Dan Schneider, but still very, very highly touted. It was created by one of the creator of the Fairly Odd Parents and another Nickelodeon show, Big Time Rush. I enjoyed Big Time Rush as well. It just doesn't crack this top 10. Would be in the top 15 for sure for me, though. Definitely a great show here in Ned's Declassified. Overall, you know, watching Ned Bigby played by who plays him? I forgot. Oh, you know, Ned Bigby Devin Werkheiser, along with his best friends Mose and Cookie, going around and having a very rough time doing things in life. Just, you know, it's a good way to do things, I guess. I mean, they always come out on top. Well, most of the time they come out on top, but when they don't, they learn a life lesson. We'll move on to number 2 now, which will be only one of the last of four animated cartoon shows on this list, and what's highly considered the greatest TV cartoon of the 2000s, SpongeBob SquarePants. I mean, airing from 1999 through now, it still hasn't gone off the air. They're still making new episodes. There have been 2 movie adaptations: the SpongeBob SquarePants movie in 2004, and then the SpongeBob movie, The Sponge Out of Water, airing in released early February of this year. Who doesn't love SpongeBob? Parents, kids, elderly people, babies, everybody loves SpongeBob. Since the day he came out, SpongeBob has been probably the greatest show on Nickelodeon in terms of an animated cartoon in history. You know, it's considered up there with some of the greatest cartoons of all time, like The Simpsons and The Flintstones and Family Guy and Scooby-Doo, as one of the most iconic cartoon characters of all time. And I believe a video I saw on WatchMojo.com, go and subscribe to their page as well. SpongeBob was ranked as the number 9. It was the number 9 most memorable, or 6 most memorable cartoon characters of all time. You know, up there with Fred Flintstone, Peter Griffin, George Jetson, Homer Simpson. You know, anybody like Scooby-Doo, anybody like that. And now, as we will move on to number 1, this is going to be Dan Schneider's show, Drake and Josh. I can't say anything else about Drake and Josh except for the fact that it's unbelievable. I love the show, everything about it. And it only aired from 2004 to 2007. But actually 2008 if you count the Christmas movie that they released. But the final episode was aired in 2007. I absolutely loved it. And, you know, Josh Peck today, a great Vine star. Just last night he hosted the Teen Choice Awards and had a great moment with Jesse from Full House, John Stamos. And Drake Bell's consistency of just annoying him was also very funny. And, you know, the two of them always getting into arguments. The classic line from the Foam Finger episode, "Are you calling me a liar? I ain't calling you a truther," is, in my opinion, one of the greatest lines in cartoon history. You know, they had the Drake and Josh Go to Hollywood hour-and-a-half special a couple of years ago, and then the Christmas special, which I look forward to watching every year at Christmas time, when, you know, it's Christmas time, and then they do their Nickelodeon airs all the Christmas movies and specials they've ever had. That's definitely one I love, and I always enjoy watching. It's very fun. Overall, Drake and Josh, probably the greatest show in Nickelodeon history. It's mine. It's my favorite in Nick history. It's probably up there in a lot of people's category, and it's by far the greatest Dan Schneider show of all time. And like I said, Dan Schneider has created probably the most total number of great cartoons in Nick history, and he's got one out now that's Henry Danger, which is a good show. Not up there with these shows yet, you know, and there's more to, after Rugrats at number 10, you can keep going with shows like Big Time Rush and all of that. And then if you continue with the Nick at Night stuff, you got the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, which was one of the most revolutionary shows in history. You know, it's a great overall brand of shows that Nickelodeon has put out over the years, which tells you why Nickelodeon is right there with Disney Channel as probably the best cartoon channels out there. So I hope you enjoyed this video. There will be plenty of more top 10s about stuff like this. There will be top 10s about WWE as well. Tonight, Monday Night Raw, just a quick note, will be airing live from the Target Center in Minneapolis, Minnesota. Tomorrow, at some point, I'll try to get a review in. If not, maybe later tonight as well. I hope you enjoyed. Please like and subscribe. Tell your friends. I really appreciate everyone who watches these videos. Thank you, and have a good day, everybody.